challenging. Okay, so I think that this hopefully will also work. If anyone's getting any sort of like feedback, or you have any feedback for me that the tech is not working or not broadcasting in any particular place, let me know. Let me go turn down the volume here. Okay. So live there. I need to close that screen and go back to Zoom. Okay, so let's see if I can keep this straight tonight. Thank God I'm not doing any screen sharing. And I don't, I don't really have any links to share. I'll share a link with you at the end. So the first question was, what I was thinking about all through yesterday and through this morning is really, what is authority? And the answers that kept on coming to my mind, authority is being the person who comes to mind. As I want to know what they think. Whenever anyone who is in your category, in the same topic, the same sort of message that you're in, whenever anybody is doing anything new, when they're trying anything new, when they're launching something new, you want them to be thinking, I wonder what they think. Talking about you, right? They want to know what you think of the new project, the new launch, the new thing, because the good chance is you have an audience opportunity that you could share them somewhere else. People want to be in your social circle when you have authority, because not necessarily you are the expert on everything, but because everyone in the category, everyone who's doing amazing things, everyone who's doing new things, everyone who's breaking down barriers is around you and is having conversations with you. So anyone else who wants to break into that social circle, they can enter through you, which is a lot less intimidating than necessarily going straight for the influencer and the authority that you might have around you. Or the media channel that you're on. They might be able to get exposure for themselves or information, feedback for themselves from the media channel that you're on through you. Authority is also knowing that when they see your email come through, and this would be anyone that you are sending an email pitch or proposal, a sponsorship opportunity, any sort of request, when they see your email content, the content of your email message, they see your email signature, they instantly, instinctively know, like, and trust you, because you make it easy for them to know why they should. Even if you're a complete stranger, the first time you email them, you want to know that when they open up your email, they're going to instantly know, like, and trust you. And that is authority. It's also knowing that when they search Google for you, for your name, after they've opened up your email for the very first time they've ever heard of you, you spark some interest in them, then they're going to go search Google for you to see, can you actually qualify? Can you back up the claims that you're making in your email? When they search Google for you, having authority is knowing that when they search Google for those primary keywords associated with your content, with your message, or they search your name or your book title, that they're going to find relevant content at the top of Google search results related to you. That could be an Amazon page with your book. Hello. That could be if you have a Wikipedia page for your name or for your book, which is exceptionally difficult to get. But if you do have it, if you can get it, that will be at the very top of almost all the search terms associated with the keywords on the page. So Wikipedia is one of the most powerful websites on the internet, as far as Google search authority goes, page rank, PR rank. It allows you, having a page on Wikipedia allows you great authority, because you have to be a severely notable person, extremely notable person, and the editors of Wikipedia have to approve and agree in order for your page to stay up. Amazon is an almost equally powerful PageRank website on the internet for Google. And yet, with Amazon, you can publish books, you can publish multiple pieces of content with those keywords, with your name associated, and the inside content doesn't even have to be vetted. So publishing on Amazon itself with those keywords, ensuring that your book title has specific keywords associated with your message, with your purpose, with the outcome that you're hoping to achieve. And publishing your book on Amazon gives you awesome, amazing search engine optimization, so that when you've reached out to a cold prospect, someone who doesn't know you, for an opportunity of sponsorship or speaking, and they Google search you, seeing if they Google search your keywords, but if they Google search your name, seeing your Amazon page come up at the top of Google search is really powerful. Much more powerful than seeing nothing at all, or seeing content associated with the exact same person's name that you have, but it's not you at all, right? So having authority is knowing that you're at the top of the Google search terms for your name, for your topic. It's knowing that anyone who does open up your email is going to know, like, and trust you instantly. It's knowing that whenever anyone's trying to do something new, they want to figure out, hey, how can I bring this over to Debbie and see what she thinks about it? That was the question I always had in my mind when I started my first show, Sparkle SOS Book Authors and Publishers, in 2012 and 2013, right around the time that Casey Palmer was socializing with me at the same time. I kept that question in mind. How can I create a conversation that inspires people who see it when they're doing amazing things in the future, that they go, oh, I want to be on Debbie's show. I want to know what Debbie and her guests think of what I'm doing. And I found, after a few episodes of doing my show, because that was my motivation, was creating that sort of thinking in the audience, that I was succeeding, because I was taking action to fulfill what I was trying to do. Authority is also knowing that every media channel and journalist and event that focuses on your topic knows who you are, they like you, and they can rely on you to respond and make it easier for them to succeed at engaging with their audience on your topic, right? So every journalist and every media channel that's regularly writing about your subject matter, when you have authority, they know who you are. When they get assigned the next article, they think, oh, I need to reach out to Debbie first, because I know she'll pick up the phone. I know she'll reply to me immediately. She's going to make my job easier. I have a 6 p.m. deadline tonight. Who are the people that I know I can rely on? And you want to be that person when you're on that list. That is having authority. It's knowing that, and I tell everyone that I work with, you want to have a list of colleagues, of comparison books and book authors. These are the books and authors who would share the shelf space with you in the bookstore, not in a library, because that's alphabetical, Dewey Decimal System, but in the bookstore, where they're based on category and interest. And the books that are on the shelf are the ones that are selling. They don't have books in the bookstore that aren't selling, ever. right? So it's knowing that the other books and the other authors in your category, the ones who are already bestsellers, the ones who are already established, the ones who have super full businesses, and you see them all the time everywhere in media channels. It's knowing that when they get opportunities where they're too busy, where they're double booked, or they have people reaching out to them where their prices are just way too high for these people that are reaching out to them because their business is really established, because their book is very well known. They're now charging the premium prices. And if you're new to the circle, if you're new to the category, you can still have authority by being the person that they think of. Well, I want to give some value to Debbie, and therefore when I'm not available to take this opportunity, it's going to benefit me more to refer Debbie into this opportunity than it will for me just to turn the reporter or the opportunity down. So the very first time that I had the opportunity to speak internationally on stage, I was invited to a conference that I had never heard of before, to go to Las Vegas. I was paid, my trip was paid for, and to speak on stage at a conference. And the reason why they reached out to me and asked me would I be willing to go, and of course I was because somebody else, a colleague of mine who was in the same circle of social media influencers, had the opportunity. She was on the organizing board for that conference. So the board of people who were contributing to marketing and to organizing the entire conference, she was participating in it for her own authority and for her own experience and connections. And she had the opportunity to recommend speakers, and she recommended me. Why? Because she'd been on my show, because we'd worked together, because I'd invited her into my social circle. So that's having authority means that you're going to have all the business opportunities that you want much more easily and with a lot less struggle. A lot of the times people will come to you ready to buy at a higher and more premium price. Or it just, everything becomes a lot more easy when you have authority. So I hope that I have answered the first question of what is authority. It can be a little bit difficult to define, but I hope I've started to give some context around it. Why it matters? Well, definitely, instead of struggling for visibility, struggling for exposure, struggling for publicity, or struggling to get clients who will trust you when you're new, or when you're not the authority, when you feel like, but don't I need to really be an expert? When you have authority, it makes all of this easier. Prospects will come to you, like I said, already convinced to join you and to hire you, to support you. As well, the question of, how can you recognize authority opportunities? This very often is one of the most difficult things for people. But for me, I'm lucky because it's very easy for me. I come from a media background. I was a media buyer for ad agencies for many, many years. And so what I've known for almost 30 years now is that everywhere I go, everywhere I look, what I'm seeing is organizations spending money on sponsorships. So when I want to think about who are the organizations that might want to sponsor my media channel, which could be my conversation, my authority TV show, my authority articles that I publish on my own sites, My books. Do I want sponsors for my books? And which organizations might be willing to sponsor my book? Well, first, what I want to find is the organizations that are spending money to talk to my same audience. So I look for what are the media channels where my audience goes. And those can be, they're usually pretty obvious. The keywords, if you do a Google search for keywords, and then magazine, television, newspaper, various media general terms, plus your main keywords, you'll find all sorts of publications, all sorts of media channels that exist. And one of the things that you want to do is look for, where are these media channels, where are these organizations advertising anything associated with books. The easier way to find it is to look through the book authors that are your colleagues, that are your not competitive, but comparison book authors, books and authors. The events and media channels that they're in are the exact media channels and events that you can also be in. So one of the things that I also recommend for everyone who's watching tonight and everybody who works with me in my mastermind community is to use a Google tool called Google Alerts. And what Google Alerts does is it lets you know, it sends you an email message as often as you want, as often as you indicate. Every time that a brand new keyword is used that you have told Google, every time a new page comes up that you crawl on the internet with this keyword, I want you to send me a notification. And you choose how often you receive those notifications, but it's really valuable for you just to be delivered that information from Google Alerts. So if you add your comp authors and books names to Google Alerts, every time they have a new media channel talk about their book or their name and issue the web page, you will get an alert in your inbox. And those journalists, those media channels, those recommended reading lists, those bestseller lists, those book awards, those grants for books, for culture, for art, grants for specific opportunities in specific categories. If you're nonfiction or fiction or poetry, there are grants and awards for every different category of book. And the way that you're going to find them is by having the names of the comp authors, the bestsellers in the category that maybe they've been, these books may have been published 20 or 30 or 50 years ago, or maybe even longer. But these are the books that you still want to know whenever Google has something new, especially the ones that are not so old, because those authors themselves are especially still active. We don't have the opportunity to see Napoleon Hill doing new interviews. But we can still Google for Think and Grow Rich and find out where new large audiences are focusing on that topic. And if that is a part of our topic conversation, a part of our message, contribute it there as well. And one of the things that media channels always want when you're looking for more exposure, media channels are always looking for more and different opinions. They're looking for the counter to what they already have. They're not just looking to repeat the same message over and over and over again. They're looking to hopefully share a well-rounded survey of their viewers. So it's not just one opinion. It's not just one approach. but they like to show differing opinions and differing approaches and differing opportunities to their audience, because that keeps the audience engaged in the same content, even content that they produced previously, which is why looking at your Google Alerts, looking at the comp authors is really valuable for identifying the opportunities for the awards and the recommended reading lists and the journalists and the media channels that tend to want to talk about your message, your book topic, and not only that, that they're looking for new content on that same subject matter. If you can produce and offer to them something new or different from what they've already spoken about, then it really doesn't matter how much experience you have or how much of an expert you are, you can leapfrog and generate authority. One of the ways that I did this in my past was that previously, when I was focused much more on social media, I positioned myself and became known as a Facebook advertising expert. This was quite some time ago. I'm not a Facebook ads expert anymore in any way, shape, or form. The platform's completely changed, and I'm just not, I have not kept up with it in the same way. But I did position myself as a Facebook ads expert because I was talking about free social media community management was really what I was known for. And at the time when I was becoming known as a Facebook ads expert, there was a big divide when the sort of organic community of people who were building audiences and building businesses on Facebook just through community and through engagement, never paying for ads, where they would say, oh, you know, like it's a total cop out, or like you really don't know how to do social media if you have to pay for advertising. And what I was doing as a social media community manager was I was saying, okay, if you're going to pay me $2,000 a month to manage your page, I'm going to take 5% of your budget and I'm going to apply that to advertising on your account on your behalf, just to show you the exact amount, just to show you how even $100 a month is going to benefit your community, is going to benefit your efforts. And that in itself, just me saying, you know what, I'm going to take 5% of every client's budget and give it to them, give it back to them in Facebook advertising. They can't turn me down then, because I had this problem where I was trying to get my clients to also invest in media and also invest in Facebook ads, and they were refusing. But once I showed them the impact of even just $100 in the first month, then they were starting to see value in it. But where it got me authority was media channels that were starting to write about Facebook ads were searching for people who were not the same, you know, like I've had these huge success stories. I didn't have huge success stories. I was just working on small little clients. But what I was doing was convincing clients to try it. And that's something that the media wants to talk about. The media wants to share new strategies for how to get your community management clients to spend money on Facebook ads. And so I was quoted in a number of big media channel articles about Facebook ads and about how to really use them well at the time. Now, those articles aren't relevant anymore. As I said, I'm not an expert anymore, but it did give me authority, which gave me more confidence, which gave me more exposure, which, you know, it brought me more social media clients, never turned me into a Facebook ads agency. Or, you know, it's not like my media and publicity took off and I wasn't able to control my brand and I suddenly got positioned as a Facebook ads expert that I didn't want. it just, it was beneficial in its own small way. So the last point is really, how can you leverage and find the authority that you've already generated in your life? So as I started off at the beginning of this conversation, none of us are brand new. We've all been on social media for a while. We're establishing our communities. We have been participating in and speaking to and contributing to loads of events in real life, online, anywhere. So the way that you start to collect and document and recognize the authority that you have generated in your life, is starting to sort of create a checklist. And I might actually create this checklist for authority. But the things that you can look at to add to your landing pages, to your email signature, to press releases that you issue out and then have syndicated across hundreds or thousands of media news outlets to proliferate across Google. The checklist of items that you can collect and question, have I achieved this? Have I experienced this? Have I been there? One of the very first things for book authors is the bestseller title. If your book has been a bestseller, I think especially paid, I personally wouldn't use or claim the bestseller title if it was just on the free bestseller list, because it's very, very easy. I personally only use it once I've achieved bestseller status on the paid bestseller list. And then it's really up to you, like how you're going to position it and how heavy you're going to promote it. And, that can very much be related to the bestseller list that you're on. If it's Amazon bestseller list, then you might just start using the title for the benefit, for the authority. Whereas if it's New York Times bestseller list that you're on, I would invest money in putting that out there. I would invest more money if I achieved the New York Times bestseller list. Start investing more money in advertising and put New York Times bestseller all over everything, because that is massive, huge authority. So bestseller list, if you have any previous media exposure, whether that's blogs, radio stations that you've interviewed for, podcasts, and in all honesty, it doesn't matter what the topic was, but just the fact that you have media exposure on media channels and you can share that will help generate your authority. Any awards that you've won, recognition that you've had, that can be mentioned to help boost your authority again. And with everything, it's a matter of, how relevant is this for how loud or how big you make it, how obvious you make it, right? The bigger authority it is, the more I would lead with it. If you have a publisher for your book, I would definitely start using the logo of the publisher on your landing pages, especially if they're a big 5 traditional publisher, recognizable name. Put that logo of your publisher everywhere, because having a traditional publisher for your book is huge authority. It says that your book was good enough to get picked up by a traditional publisher, which is and has always been, for 600 years, has been extremely difficult to do. So I would definitely do that. I would also include things like reader 5-star reviews. Michael Maxwell, I know you're watching. You have a ton of great 5-star and 4.5, 5-star reviews for some of your books. I would definitely start using those quotes and that they're Amazon 5-star reviews on your landing pages, right? Instead of just media logos, use other people's, instead of you shouting from the rooftop how great your book is, how great your message is, how great whatever it is that you're promoting is, use other people saying how great it is. And that gives you authority as well. Any sponsors that you have worked with or are currently working with, I would definitely include them on your pages, your signatures. You just want people to know you're sponsored. You're not doing this alone. There are other people relying on you to produce this, so they can trust that you will produce this too. They can trust that what you're promising, what you're saying will actually come to fruition. And finally, the last piece that I wrote down was, if you're working with a charity currently, any not-for-profit organization, I think it is really, really strong for hooking the media in. Media channels really don't want to give exposure and give media space or airtime to people who are just promoting themselves, who are in it for themselves. If it's just about you trying to make money and help yourself, why would they want you on their channel, right? So they're definitely looking for people and stories of people who are doing what they're doing for the greater good, who are doing what they're doing to help other people. And one of the ways to really make that concrete and obvious for the people who look at you, to generate the authority from your activities and from your desire to help people, is to partner with a charitable organization, to give them a portion of the profits or all of the profits, however you want to work it or word it. Give them a portion of the profits from your activities, from your books, from your speaking engagements. And of course, like I said, you can work out the agreement of the specifics any way that you want, but what you're doing is you're creating a relationship with an organization that has another audience that is already convinced that they want more of what you've got, right? Because the charitable organization is related to your message, is related to your purpose, so what your book is about, what your category is about. So when you connect with a related charitable organization for your book message or your purpose, whenever you do anything, you mention them, you bring them in to participate, you give them an opportunity to speak at your events about why they're so proud to be sponsoring your book and why they're so happy to be involved with you and the good work that you do. And of course, why they're so happy that you're helping them fundraise and generate awareness for their organization, that most likely in reciprocity, they will also promote you and your events to their massive list, their email list, their social media audiences. Everywhere that they go, the more that you promote them, they'll promote you. And the other thing is, from the media perspective, the optics that it creates once you have this partnership, this relationship of reciprocity, where you're helping and being helped by a not-for-profit organization. One, it positions you as being a much more charitable kind of person, which the media wants more of. They want to show good examples of good human beings doing good things. Media channels, you'll notice if you watch the news, if it bleeds, it leads, right? So the top news story of the night is going to be blood and gore and horror. But what they like to close out with, the news channels, the end of the night or the end of the hour or the half hour, they like to close out with a feel-good news story. And very often that feel-good news story will be someone from the community who is doing something bigger than themselves, bigger than just doing what they're doing. right? They're doing something to help others. And they're not doing it to benefit themselves. They're doing it to benefit a charitable organization or a person in need or animals in need. It's always something that makes you feel good at the end of the night. So it's not just all blood and guts and horror on the news, so that you don't feel like killing yourself at the end of the night, but it really helps you feel better. And when you can really make that connection clear and show it off, be proud of giving away a portion of the profits and always supporting and always talking about this organization and why they're so important and why they are the reason why you do what you do, it gives a lot more meaty stories for the media to pick up on. So that's most of what I have to share with the larger audience tonight. I'm going to say thank you now. I do want to share with you a link to my mastermind, my masterclass, mastermind community. We do have a masterclass coming up, which is a 2-hour masterclass. It will be live on February 6th at 2 p.m. Eastern. Let me see. Not a little bit more difficult for me to copy and paste this link than I thought, but let me see if I can still get it. Oh, my other, oh, interesting. Can't post comments to any of your current destinations. Okay, so I can't post comments, but I'll come in and post comments later. I'll share the link with you to my mastermind community. Last week, I opened up 10 beta spots, and I had 5 of them go last week. So the price to work to join this mastermind community of book authors, all working together to generate their authority and exposure, the price is practically a no-brainer. Like I said, I will share the link with you later. If you want to talk to me about details about the program, please just reach out to me in direct message. And if you have questions, or if you want to talk about payment options, because this is still a beta, because I'm still testing it and just bringing in the first few members before I really start to push the program to a larger community. Yeah, I'm flexible. So reach out to me if you feel like you want to work with me this year in developing and expanding your authority, getting more media exposure. Some people like Casey, I would love to see you in the community, but you do so much. I don't know. I would love to hear if you actually got anything from this conversation tonight, or if it reminded you of anything, or if you're way beyond this. I'd love to hear that feedback from you. So everyone who did tune in tonight live, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me. And I'll be back on Saturday, this Saturday at 1:15 p.m. With a new topic conversation, and I'll put that up probably tomorrow or the next couple of days for you to RSVP. So thanks everyone, have a good night. And I'll be joining my Zoom, my mastermind community members for the remainder of this conversation just in Zoom. Have a great night, everybody. Okay, so that was a very weird experience. Oops, I muted myself. Looks like nobody else came in. Did you have any questions? Angie, what did you think? Oh, you're muted. You're still muted. I can't hear you. Did I mute you? I muted you. How do I unmute you? More participants. Let's see. Angie muted. Oh, ask to unmute. Mute.
Okay.
Oh, so you should be unmuted?
Yeah, is that okay? Can you hear me?
My volume was down.
Excellent. Can you hear me? So where did Michael go? Is Michael not in now?
I'm not, I think, hold on 1 second, because I've got one of my screens somewhere is playing. Hold on 1 second.
No problem.
I've just got another screen open. I'm still playing somewhere else.
You're on YouTube. It says on the top of my screen. It says webinar is now.